Hey everyone! If you're someone like me who loves farming Divine Orbs but doesn't have the time to juice up a ton of maps just for one or two, then this video is for you. I've managed to get some juicy results from a method I've been testing, and I'm here to show you whether it's worth your time or not. Make sure to watch until the end because I'll share some essential tips that can help you squeeze even more Divines out of this method. You're probably familiar with Delirium, but in case you're not, here's a quick rundown. Delirium is an endgame mechanic that creates a fog-covered map, filled with empowered enemies that hit harder but also drop some amazing loot. It's one of the best ways to earn currency in Path of Exile if done right. The most common way you'll encounter Delirium is through Delirium mirrors. These appear randomly in your endgame maps, but you can also force them by using a Delirium precursor tablet in your Lost Towers. These encounters often reward you with distilled emotions, which can be used on amulets to allocate passive nodes. Add deliriousness to maps, making them harder but more rewarding. But for this method, we're not focusing on that. Instead, we'll be using Delirious Waystones to jump straight into Delirious Maps and farm Simulacrum Splinters efficiently. Let's break it down. Simulacrum Splinters are fragments dropped during Delirium encounters. Once you gather 300 splinters, you can combine them to create a Simulacrum, which is an endgame event featuring 15 waves of enemies with incredible loot. However, we're not actually running simulacrums in this method, we're selling them. Right now, simulacrums are priced at around 170 to 190 Exalted Orbs each. That's roughly a guaranteed Divine Orb per simulacrum, plus some extra Exalted Orbs on the side. Now let's talk about the most important part, your Waystones. After testing over 100 maps, I've discovered that the only thing you really need to maximize Simulacrum Splinter drops is a high percentage of deliriousness. The modifiers on the Waystone itself, they don't matter nearly as much as you'd think. Even if your Waystone doesn't have any modifiers, you're still good to go. To boost the deliriousness percentage on your Waystones, here's what you do. Install 3/3 distilled emotions onto the Waystone. Make sure to run tier 10 plus maps to maximize splinter drops. So, how do you get started? First, you'll want to complete 3 simulacrums yourself. Why? Because it'll grant you mandatory passive points for the Delirium section of your Atlas tree. Not to mention, you'll get some great loot like voices, megalomaniac cluster jewels, and a bunch of Delirium orbs and scarabs. While you could skip this step, I highly recommend doing it because it will triple the amount of Simulacrum Splinters you'll farm in the long run. More splinters mean more Divine Orbs in your pocket. Here are the 3 most important passives you'll need to take in your Delirium Atlas tree. Get Out of My Head increases the chance for dropped Waystones to have pre-installed emotions on them. The mirrors, increases the amount of fracturing mirrors, which boosts splinter drops. Would you like to see my face? Like, this is the big one. It dramatically increases the amount of simulacrum splinters dropped. Not all Waystones dropped will have 3 out of 3 emotions pre-installed. If they don't worry. You can add more deliriousness to them manually by using distilled emotions. Just make sure your Waystones are optimized before running them. Alright, let's talk numbers. After running 100 maps with this method, I ended up with 3,183 Simulacrum Splinters, which translated into 10 Simulacrums. Now let's convert that into currency. At today's rate, each Simulacrum sells for 188 Exalted Orbs, which means I earned a total of 1,880 Exalted Orbs. That's nearly 10 Divine Orbs just from Simulacrum Splinters alone. And remember, this doesn't even include the other loot I picked up, like gems, jewels, and random dropped orbs. There's a lot of extra value to be had here, so if you're someone like me who loves farming currency efficiently, this method is an absolute game changer. The key here is sticking to high deliriousness maps and optimizing your Atlas passives to maximize splinter drops. With a little bit of setup, you'll be raking in Divine Orbs faster than ever. If you found this guide helpful, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe for more content, and let me know in the comments how this method worked out for you. Thanks for watching, and happy farming.